Lesson 9-7, Box and Whisker Plots. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to interpret box and whisker plots as well as make box and whisker plots to show the distribution of data. Make sure you have your pencil and paper ready to jot down your notes and work right along with me. A box and whisker plot includes a number line that shows the extremes, greatest and least numbers, the median, and quartile divisions. The whiskers show the first and fourth quartiles. Here are the steps in order to make a box and whisker plot. So make sure you copy all of these down in your notes, and then we're going to go through making one step by step so that way you can see what each of these actually mean. So the first one is to order the data from least to greatest. Second, find the median, then the upper and lower quartiles, which are the middle values of each half of the data. Third, display the extremes, quartiles and medians as points above a number line. Number 4, draw a box that ends at the lower and upper quartiles, then draw a vertical line segment through the box at the median. Number 5, draw horizontal line segments called whiskers from the ends of the box to the lower and upper extremes, and last, you write a title for the plot. So make sure you have these all written down before moving on to the next slide. So here we have some scores. We have 50, 60, 80, 100, 90, 70, 70, 110, and 90. So our first step will be to order the data from least to greatest. And that will look like this. We have 50, 60, 70, 70, 80, 90, 90, 100, 110. So we know here is our median, 80. So 80 is the median. So now that we found that, we need to find the upper and lower quartiles. So these are the middle values of each half of the data. So here we have, right here is the lower quartile. So if we take a look at the middle data here in the lower quartile, that would be the numbers 60 and 70. So we would take 60 plus 70 and divide that by 2 because it's two numbers that we're looking at, and that gets us 65. So that would be our lower quartile. Then we take a look over here at our upper quartile, and these two numbers right here are in the middle, 90 and 100. So we would do the same thing for those. And we have 90 plus 100 divided by 2, because again, that's two numbers we're looking at. So that gives us 95. So our next step now is to display the extremes, quartiles, and median as points above a number line. So here we have our number line. So in the middle will be our median. We have that at 80. So right here, I'm going to put a dot for our median. And I'll write that right here, median. Our next will be to do our quartiles. Those will come next, our lower and our upper quartiles. So for our lower quartile, we have 65. So that's going to be right here. I'll put it up here. So our lower quartile. I'm just going to put an LQ for that. And then over here, we have our upper quartile, which we got to be 95. So that'll be up here. And I'm going to put upper quartile, just a U and a Q. The last ones will be our lower extreme and our upper extreme. So that our lower extreme is the lowest number that we had up here as we put them in order. So here's our lower extreme and here's our upper. So the lower is clear down here at 50. So let me mark that at 50 right here. And I'm just going to put LE for lower extreme. And our upper extreme was at 110. So that's right here. Upper extreme. So as we look at our next step, it now says to draw a box that ends at the lower and upper quartiles. So we're going to draw that box at the lower and upper quartiles. So that would be here to the upper quartile. So it kind of looks like more like a rectangle. And then it says, draw a vertical line segment through the box at the median. So here's our vertical line segment right here. Our next step says draw horizontal line segments called whiskers from the ends of the box to the lower and upper extremes. So it's going to go out from this dot to this dot, and then it goes from this dot to this dot. So here we have our box is right here, and our whiskers stick out just like this. So that's what the line and whisker plot would be for this one, and then we need to put a title for that. And this was reading test scores. So we would write reading test scores as the title of this. I don't have room above, so I'm going to write it right below. Reading test scores. You'll always need to make sure that you label so that way a reader knows what it is you're talking about. Okay, I think that for today's lesson, it'll be very helpful if you watch these last couple slides a couple of times so that way you can see how you go through each of the 6 steps in order to graph this, and then it'll make a little more sense before heading off on today's lesson.